Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about all of the books that I have bought recently and been sent for review. As usual, all of the titles that I mention will be linked in the description box down below if you'd like to go and find out more. The first book I'd like to speak to you about is this one here, which was very kindly sent to me for review by Tilted Axis Press. They're one of my favourite publishers. They publish translated fiction, and this is a short story collection called Where the Wild Ladies Are by Matsuda Ayoko, and it's translated from the Japanese by Polly Barton. This is a feminist collection of stories that retells traditional Japanese ghost stories. I am very much here for that. It says, in a company run by the mysterious Mr. Tay, strange things are afoot. Incense sticks lead to a surprise encounter. A young man reflects on his mother's death. A fox-like woman finally finds her true calling. As female ghosts appear in unexpected guises, their gently humorous encounters with unsuspecting humans lead to deeper questions about emancipation and recent changes in Japanese women's lives. And this is out now. It came out in February. The next book is a memoir that I've purchased called Two Trees Make a Forest by Jessica J. Lee. I adored her memoir Turning, which was all about wild swimming, and I mentioned I was going to pick this up. I didn't know that it existed until I read her essay in the essay collection about swimming at the ladies' pond at Hampstead Heath, and this was mentioned in the bio, so I went out and bought a copy. It's about memory, migration, and Taiwan. This one says that Jessica is seeking to piece together the fragments of her family's history as they move from China to Taiwan and then on to Canada, which sounds very different to her other book, which was mostly set in Berlin. I love her turn of phrase. It's very poetic, so I'm excited to add this to my TBR. Apologies for sounding like a frog, by the way. I, like most people right now, have a cold. This is a book that Mr. M bought me for my birthday. It is 6 fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm, and it's illustrated by David Hockney. Obviously, I have read the Brothers Grimm before in various different translations. My favourite translation is by Jack Zipes, but I do not have a copy of this one, and the illustrations by David Hockney inside are really fantastic. And in fact, some of these stories are not in the Jack Zipes version because they were added later because they had so many different versions, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting these tales. Next is a poetry collection I was sent for review. This is called The Air Year by Caroline Bird. I've read some of her previous collections and really enjoyed them, and this one says that the speakers in this collection exist in a state of unrest, trapped in a liminal space between takeoff and landing, undeniably lost. I was also sent this by Coralie. This is her new children's picture book called The Song of the Tree. She's Coralie Bickford-Smith. She is a beautiful illustrator. She does all the covers for most of the classic Penguin editions, the cloth bounds, the English Library editions. Her first book was called The Fox and the Star. She also has a second called The Worm and the Bird. And this one, the colours in this, I cannot get over it. Let me show you a couple of spreads in here. Just the prints are beautiful. So there are 2 different colour schemes in here. She has this, well, more than 2, but she has these blues and oranges, which look like this, and then she has these stunning greens as well, which look like this. It is the most beautiful book, perfect for children and adults, and I'll speak about it more in my wrap up because I've already read it. I read it as soon as it arrived because I couldn't resist. Next is this short story collection, which I was kindly sent for review, called She Clown and Other Stories by Hannah Vincent. I've never read any of her work before, but I was so intrigued by this cover, this title, and by the blurb, which seems to be about mothers and daughters and various female relationships and women expressing their horror at the world around them. So I'm looking forward to diving in and finding out more. I recently went to Foyles and bought 3 books, which I showed in my most recent weekly vlog, which I'll link down below in case you would like to check that out. I bought this memoir by Carmen Maria Machado called In the Dream House. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this. This is about abusive relationships. I also bought this, which I hadn't been meaning to pick up when I went in, but it was displayed everywhere and I got sucked in. This is Anne Yu's Braised Pork. Again, I've heard very good things, and this is about a woman who finds her husband, yes, Gia finds her husband dead in the bathtub of their Beijing apartment. Next to him is a sketch that he has made, but he has left no note. And then the novel goes from there. I also bought This Green and Pleasant Land by Aisha Malik, which is about a young man called Bilal and his wife Miriam. They live in a small English village. They are the only Asian family in the village. And when Bilal's mother is dying, she tells him that she wants him, as her dying wish, to build a mosque in the village. And this novel follows him and his family as he undertakes this task. Next, I was sent The Bass Rock for review by Evie Wilde, which is one of my most anticipated releases of this year. It's set on the Bass Rock, which is a small island just off the coast of Scotland, and it's about 3 women in different centuries and how their lives intertwine. The first one is a woman called Sarah, who's been accused of being a witch, and she's fleeing the island. Then we follow, let me check this press release to get names right. I think it's Ruth, if I remember correctly. Yes, Ruth, in the aftermath of the Second World War, is navigating a new marriage and the strange waters of the local community. And then 6 decades after that, Viv, still mourning the death of her father, is cataloguing Ruth's belongings into the now empty house. So I have read Evie's previous books and loved them. Her writing style is beautiful. I've been eagerly anticipating her latest, so I look forward to getting to that. I also bought a copy of Pain and Prejudice, A Call to Arms for Women and Their Bodies by Gabrielle Jackson. Lauren has been raving about this, saying how good it is and how infuriating. I know that comparatively little research has been done into female pain and into conditions that only affect women, and this is a book all about that. So I look forward to reading it and being infuriated as well. I bought this memoir here, which is The Magical Language of Others by E.J. Coe, which has this stunning cover. Tin House Books do so many beautiful covers. Oh my God, my voice, sorry. This is a love letter between a daughter and a mother, and it's told in a series of letters. It says, after living in America for over a decade, Yoonji Ko's parents returned to South Korea, leaving her and her brother behind in America. And her mother sends her letters in Korean, which she, I believe, doesn't find until years later in a box, and she starts to translate them. So I think this sounds really fascinating and heartbreaking. I want to get to it quite soon. And finally, I was sent the new Isabel Greenberg. This is her latest graphic novel. I'll do a cutaway so you can see the beauty within. This is about the Bronte siblings and the world that they created called Glass Town. So much has been written about this, and they wrote so much about it themselves. I'm really excited to see how Isabel Greenberg imagines it in her beautiful style. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk to you about today. As I said, I have linked all of them in the description box down below if you would like to go and find out more. Let me know what books you have bought recently or picked up from the library. I would love to know. I hope you all have a great week, and I will speak to you very soon. Lots of bookish love. Bye.